Hello and welcome to the fastest and safest way to make 1,000,000 Solari within one day. There are a lot of moving pieces and parts, and I'm going to go through this in a great amount of detail so you can pump this out yourself. There's caveats, disclaimers, prerequisites, but ultimately you'd be hard stretched to find a safer, faster way to make 1,000,000 Solari. No deep desert, no shenanigans, just some good old intelligent grinding. But I guarantee you, this video will make you frickin' rich. And there's so much room for improvement to make this even more efficient, quicker. But let's jump into making 1,000,000 Solari in a day. Let's go. What you're going to need. First, you want at least a Mark IV, preferably a Mark V. Ornithopter. You want to have this storage on. You can make any modifications to the wings or anything to make it faster, but you want the storage. Ideally, you'll also need a buggy as well as an assault ornithopter. Now, you don't need to own one of these. You really just need these for 10 minutes to swap some parts over, but I'll explain this in more detail down the track. But that tip alone will make you a ton of cash. The other thing that's mission critical is inventory management to this whole strategy. We have to be very stingy and carry nothing with us other than a blade, cutter, backup tool, water, medkit. I've gone for the heavy armor as it does allow you to take absolute punishment. Now I'm using the most part Mendex outfit, which is a unique set in the duraluminum tier, which is your Mark V, which you can pick up in the deep desert in the PvE zone at the crashed ship that's in A2. The only time you need it is if your shield gets depleted, which typically in these runs doesn't really happen. But if it does, it helps to have a ton of armor. But I do want to drive home. You really don't need this. You could go medium, possibly even a steel suit, but you're just going to make sure you don't get pinned down and it's a smooth run. The heavy armor just helps as a backup in case something goes wrong. I get pinned down and I need to take a lot of damage from darts. But main takeaway, just have Mark V shield, Mark V battery, should be good to go. But I've also got the power gauntlets giving me a minus 10% power usage with things like suspensor, shield, just to help out a little bit. Also got Querce boots, give a little bit of blade mitigation and some reduction on dash stamina cost. But ultimately, you're really trying to avoid using dash unless you really need to. Most critically, we need the full suspensor belt, Mark V shield, power pack Mark V. If you don't have a Mark V shield or battery pack, I highly recommend just going onto the marketplace. Generally, you can find some half banged up ones, relatively very cheap. Just grab those. But one thing you'll need with full durability is your full suspensor when it comes to the skills and abilities. Bendu sprint, wielding step, and of course, Shigawire claw. For the techniques, trauma recovery for the healing regen, battle hardened for the ability cooldown, disciplined breathing for the stamina recovery. Obviously, having rank 3 of all these skills will make this much easier. Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts of the strategy. Very simple. What we're doing is we're focusing in on ultra rare and rare chests. I know, I'm a genius. Crazy, right? More importantly, it's just doing it in an order that allows us to smash this out very quickly by targeting the highest value areas in a methodical sequential order that has a high ranking of efficiency over time and profitability. And as I mentioned, I've spent about a week testing this, and I still believe this could be improved a lot more, but I want to show you what you end up with so you can decide if this strategy is for you. But you're roughly going to be getting anywhere between 45 to 60 Solari, generally sitting in between 45 and 50. Now, if I go sell these items just at a vendor, this will probably get to 60, no worries. However, you could try sell these for a couple extra grand on the exchange. Another really important aspect is that price of some of these valuables is determined on its durability. So as an example, the Adapt drill shot, I repaired this. I have the exact same one here. The demand changes based on its durability. We go from 16,527 to 30,208. That is an increase in value of 82.79%. Now imagine doing this every run, and you can really see how taking the time to throw everything back at the base, go through and repairing everything, and then selling it will boost your profits beyond what you've ever considered before. Good thing is, because we're doing this route, we're getting pretty much all the materials we need, excluding some of the parts for vehicles because we're not going to testing stations. But those are so easy to get. But I just wanted to highlight that as a part of this strategy. Repairing can really pay off, especially if you're after a quick turnaround. And really, you could change all this stuff and sell this stuff and easily get a couple 100,000. But for me, we're prioritizing vehicle parts as they sell at the vendors for a lot more than majority of the armor and weapons. The Mark V and Mark IV radiation suits, very high value, but I also wanted to show you, look at all this stuff you get. You'll get a ton of uniques. Because we're farming, it makes sense to try hit the logical high value targets, but at the same time, we're going to be collecting pretty much every single piece of component other than 2 or 3 other items, but we nearly collect everything you need within Hagga Basin in this run. Or instead of collecting all the materials, you could just be keeping all the weapons and armor to resell, and most importantly, being able to resell a lot of these uniques. So this is what we're going to end up with. This is the strategy. You will get very rich and wealthy doing it. I've been running it over and over again, but you can easily make $1 million in a day using this strategy. Now, obviously, there's going to be other ways and better ways to make money, but they take longer. And trust me, I've tried this. If you want to sell aluminum or duraluminum, you need a lot of water, time. It can be done, but you have to sell them for very reasonable prices, or spice or other ways. This is just the safest, best way within Hagga Basin that I've come up with. But let's go check out the route that I'm running at the moment. As I said, I believe these will change and there's better efficiencies, but this is just what I'm doing. And what we're going to do is we're going to split this into 2 videos in order to keep it relatively short. I'm going to show you my route and the locations on the map, give you the idea. And then I'm going to put another video up running through the whole thing from start to end so you can see precisely how I'm doing it. But obviously that video is going to be 30 to 40 minutes on its own. I wanted to keep this one short just to sort of get the idea across and the strategy. So let's go over the locations at a high level. And again, there'll be another video following this up, running through exactly how I do it. But the main takeaway is we go into these locations and we're ignoring everything except for the chests. I do want to just throw in a quick example. I'll fast forward it just to give you an idea. It's not glamorous, but it can be quite tricky. You can get caught, things can go wrong, and there's quite a lot of finesse getting a really good run, and it will take a lot of practice. But all I'm doing in this quick showcase is just showing you I'm jumping in my Ornithopter, swooping down, running into the next spot, grabbing all the goods, trying to ignore the NPCs as much as possible, and then using my skills and abilities, at least attempting to use them at the best possible way in time. And that's just a very quick rundown. So the first location we're going to start with is Kaido's Shadow, and you're probably familiar with this place, but it is huge. This has one of the highest density of all chests. This probably gives you the most amount of money, I think, than nearly any of the other points of interest. But that's the starting point, and then we'll head over to the next location. So we're coming from here, and we're going all the way over to Peter's Net. This location here in Jabal Efred Al-Ghab. This is a nice quick stop that has 2 rares, 1 ultra, and 2 basic. And just so you know what it looks like, this is a base here. It is nighttime, unfortunately, but just to give you an idea visually, we'll move on to the next place. Next location is Southern Comms. We're only getting the ultra rare chest and 1 other chest in this location just because it's a really quick pit stop. If you're wondering what Southern Comms looks like, this is it here nested into the cliff. So next location we're heading to is up very high in the jaws of the lion in Fangs of Maraqueb, and there's an ultra rare and a basic chest up here. And just so you know the location visually, here it is. And on the map is sitting right there. From here, we're simply just jumping down to the next location, and that is to Sentinel City. And for all the chests you want to pick up, roughly about 9 to 12 basics, 1 ultra, and there's 2 rares. So from the Sentinel City, we've exited out the Eastern Shield side, and then we're heading to the wreck of Limos. And this is the area, it's a shipwreck PvP, so you do have to be a bit more careful. And remember, if someone's already looted this area, you won't be able to pick it up. And that's why this strategy is best suited when it's off peak time. There's also another bug that happens quite a lot in this game where you can't see the door or things don't seem to render in, and then this happens. And there's nothing you can do about it. When this happens, you either have to go through the other entry or just ignore this area. One of the bugs in this game, very frustrating. This can happen with rocks as well in another location. From the wreck of Limos, we're heading to Shradrath Tomb, which has a rare and a few basics. It is a little bit hidden, but a real good straight shot from the location we've just come from. Then from the tomb, we're heading to Keith's Triumph, which is very close by. This is what it looks like. We're only grabbing a few chests from here, but it's a nice quick pickup. From Keith's Triumph, we're then heading to another PvP area, the wreck of Electo. But the usual disclaimer is there, and that is up in the Western Shield wall. Can't miss it. It always displays on the map. Just in case you're wondering, this is what the location looks like. Been recently cleared out, so there's a chance the chest isn't here. So that's one of the downsides. And here we're only grabbing 2 basics, 1 rare and 1 ultra rare, just so we can get in and out very quickly. From Wreck of Electo, we're going to the Aegis, which is an Atreides base, and we're going to be grabbing 1 ultra, 1 rare, and 3 basics. Then from the Aegis, we're going to shoot across to the next Atreides base with the exact same thing again, picking up all the same chests as they're in the exact identical spot. In the Passage of Artemis, the Atreides base, we're heading over to Misa Overwatch, where we're picking up a rare and 2 basics. And this is what the location looks like here. It's nested up high in the mountain, in the rock face. Then from Mesa Overwatch, we're heading straight to Ezra Vault, which has a very nice straight shot from where we are. This is the entry, a little bit hidden. This is one of the few locations with an ultra rare chest that doesn't have uniques. Also has a rare and a couple basics from memory. It is worth noting this is one of the areas where you can get the bug where the rocks will be invisible and you won't be able to get through this area. If that happens, there's nothing really you can do. You just have to come back bit later. Here it is, the ultra chest that doesn't drop any uniques at the moment. One of the few locations where it's really handy to use the skill to get behind them. Next location is the depot, and just for a quick visual reference, this is it. Here we're grabbing 3 basics and 1 rare. From the depot, we're heading straight for Stone Step Village. Very nice straight clean shot from where we are. We're only grabbing an ultra rare from this location, but it has a very quick turnaround. From Stone Step Village, we are heading to Batai Grotti's cave. It's another straight shot, so it's very quick and clean. And just showing you how to get there, just in case you haven't been here before, it is down this little hole here, and I'll put it myself on the map, but just at the bottom of this rock face here in Odam, in Owadam. Here we're picking up the small ultra rare, a rare, couple basics, and technically some primitives. Continuing along, we are going from Batai Grotto, the corner, to the bottom left-hand corner of Ala Cavern. And this is the spot right here. And this is where I land, just to make it very quick. We can just land right here. Here we're picking up 1 ultra, 1 rare, and it's about 4 basics. Then from there, we're heading to the Beast Claw, which is an Atreides base, a PvP zone. So this can be a little bit hit and miss. And just so a visual reference, this is what it looks like. Here we're grabbing the ultra rare, the rare, and 4 basics. Now the next one isn't as commonly known, but it's on top of the tower in Mesa Terrell, where we normally go under to grab a unique. But here it's actually on a corpse at the top. So you sort of land in on the top, jumping down, and you'll find a corpse with a few items, but generally up to 600 coin. And then from there, we are just diving down and grabbing the stuff from Mesa Terrell, the iconic crazy electrified worm. And in total, it's like 1 ultra, 1 rare, and about 4 basics. And then from here, depending how my time's going, I may hit the Iron Watch, which has quite a good amount of chests, including a rare and 4 basics. So that's the run. It's about 21 stops or locations, and this can be done pretty much within the 30 to 35 minute window on a really nice clean run. By the time you get back to base, drop things off, you pretty much can then just start this again. Farming this all day easily will yield Million Solari, and you're going to have so much stuff to use in production. This method and others like it are potentially some of the best, cleanest, safest way to make you super rich without even leaving Hagga Basin. Now, there's plenty of different routes you could take, but at least this is a framework. You get a clear understanding of how it works and that it works quite well. Probably went into way too much detail, but thank you so much for watching. If you got anything out of this, consider liking and subscribing. It goes a really long way. Peace. Side note though, I'm really interested after you watch this if you found a better, faster way. There's going to be so many unique variations of this to really maximize, but I want to know what you're running, how you're doing it, and can you improve the overall amount of Solari we can get within that 25-minute period. I just want to very quickly touch on how the drops and schematics work within all the various chests. Pretty much all the chests within Dune Awakening are static, meaning they have a predetermined list of things that can drop within these chests. These have a percentage chance ranging anywhere from 5% all the way to 100. At the lowest level, we have the primitive chests. There's roughly about 662 primitive chests. These can contain up to about 200, 300 Solari in some of the higher tier regions, but we won't really be using or finding any of these in this run. The next tier up is your basic chest, roughly about 443 of these within Hagga Basin. These also tend to have about the same as primitives, depending on the regions, but we're looking at anywhere from 150 to 300 Solari. We'll be getting a lot of these as a part of this strategy. Then you have your rare chests. There's roughly 183 of these in Hagga Basin. These can have up to about 600, maybe 700 Solari, depending on the areas, as well as contain vehicle parts and higher tier items and armor, as well as material. Then we have the corpse. The corpse can kind of be a hybrid, ranging anywhere from a primitive to an ultra rare chest. So it's a very dynamic. It will change depending on what corpse you're going to. For the corpses, there's roughly 269. As some of the corpses even have unique drops, but generally they can have about up to 600 Solari, as well as drop rarer materials. Then we have the small ultra rare. There's 10 of those, and the ultra rare.
There's about 49 of those in Hagga Basin. These two are roughly the same. These can have upwards of up to 2,000 Solari, having uniques, high-end materials, vehicle parts, you name it. It's important to understand this so you can target the highest value areas with the least amount of distance, etc.